Access denied. Hotspot. Access granted.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm going to start off by saying, it's the May 10th episode, 5/10/19. It's been a while. I know it has, and I deeply, deeply apologize, guys. Sincerely, everything I have from the bottom of my heart. I mean, not something that I wanted to do. It was a big transition from the studio and issues with the servers and my computers being pieces of crap, basically. And not trying to make excuses. It's just took a lot longer to regroup from everything than I anticipated. But hey, better late than never. And I never give up on you guys. Love you guys. And I know probably a lot of you guys fell off. I've been checking the emails, and it's been blowing up crazy. So again, I apologize, but I'm back, and we're gonna try to get into some maybe newer, different routine or whatever. So this way, it's not just kind of like whenever. Because I know a lot of people have said they've expressed frustration with that. But anyways, I hope everybody's it's Friday, so hopefully everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty good. I can't complain. I allow myself to kind of get emotionally kind of worked up more than I should, more times than not. So kind of one of those things that you try to control, but you can't really control it because it doesn't control you. But it's kind of always like a stalemate. I'm pretty good at chess. I mean, I used to be pretty good at chess. I have fell off, but I mean, I did get second in Pennsylvania in the chess tournament, so that's pretty good. There's a lot of players, a lot of matches. My brain was hurting after that, but you also get in a routine because it was like not all in one day. Because the average chess match, we weren't playing like timed or anything, but 40 minutes to an hour depending on the opponent. Some of them, like first, a couple people you can knock out if they don't really have a strategy and they're just kind of playing chess. But I treat life like chess. I'm always trying to be 2-3 moves ahead of the opponent, whatever the opponent is, whether it's a person or lifestyle, family, a job, whatever. I can relate. You can relate that aspect to a lot of different relevancies if you need to. So yeah, as I said, email did have a lot of, besides just a couple hate mail pieces, it did have different, a lot of questions, but I'm not going to do them all today because otherwise it'd be, Joe Rogan podcast. And I don't know about you, but I don't have, 2-3 hours. Plan on going maybe 50 to 60 minutes tops. So let's get right into it. I'll just go over a couple questions. So like I said, there was a bunch, but this way I can always use some other ones for other, episode of podcast need be. All right. So first one we start off with, it's sporty. I'm not gonna lie. Which hey, we're in still in that stretch. I don't even know who really did what with the NHL playoffs. To be honest, I know Boston was in it, but I can't really stand Boston. Boston with the Patriots, and not really a fan of the Red Sox either. I mean, I love Fenway Park. Probably top 5, 10 stadiums that there are, in my opinion. I haven't been to many. Citizens Bank Park, really, really good one, way better than the vet. The vet was awful. Uh, so many bad stories and memories. The AstroTurf, just terrible. Two teams playing there. At least now, the Phillies got their stadium, Eagles got their stadium. They're both nice stadiums, beautiful stadiums. Um, so first one comes in with sports references, says Sixers are still in it, and Bryce is falling apart. What is going on with Philly? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Um, I don't know. I mean, I think Sixers, yeah, they pull through when they need to pull through. And I mean, I'm not per se a Sixers fan. I'm not going to really get into it because many of you know, like I said before, I support the Sixers because they're local, but I don't not really into super into basketball. Like I said, my team used to be Seattle Supersonics, and then they kind of moved to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma, and they kind of changed cities, changed heart, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I just kind of lay the cards where they may fall there. But yeah, I mean, Sixers, they're not a bad team. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I know they're playing Toronto. They're a good team as well. But most of them are close. They have this whole thing, I think, going on. I've seen, Embiid sick. And Embiid is not the guy you want to, necessarily carry your team anyway. I say you want, a well-balanced effort. You want buckets to drop some buckets. But Ben Simmons, I mean, I don't know what the hell. Maybe he needs to stop banging Kendall so much. Some of the stupid is rubbing off or something because he kind of awful. He's 2 feet away from the basket, throws it up, and just boom, 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 nothing. And it's not I mean, it's pretty. He is a good, passer and assists, and people cover him, and they'll throw up Embiid. And Embiid had a good breakout game the other game, so not going to take a thing away from him there. But if they don't play as a team, they don't really win as a team, or they don't really win, period. You need a good round effort from all 5 of your starters and, your bench players as well, because you can't have all your starters on the court the whole 48 minutes. Usually foul trouble, exhaustion, stuff like that. Some of the good players, LeBron, maybe 40 to 42. I don't think any players really ever played a full 48-minute game. Maybe they have. You have to Google that, though. And, I mean, as far as Bryce, I was never really a fan. I know that you're going to get a lot of backlash for that. But I don't think he was necessarily needed on the team at that revenue. Because, $330 million, 10 years, something like that. Maybe it was 13. I don't really remember the whole deal. But a lot of money, a lot of time. And, I mean, yeah, he might be considered in a rut. But, you can't depend on one guy to necessarily carry the team. It has to be, especially with the Phillies, because they have Hoskins, who came from Reading, and they have the catcher Realmuto or whatever. He's really good. I like him. He's kind of a double guy, RBI if you need, first, second, third, whatever. But the starting pitching has done a lot better than I had given them credit for, because I thought that was going to be that, and when you have crappy starting, you have to bring your bullpen in early. So it wears out your bullpen early in the season. And the bullpen was really, spring training, I saw not really bedazzle me, but they have come together very nicely as a team. They're going to get a couple, losses here and there, and I don't know what the record is per se. Like I said, I know the Mets, I predicted that before the season even started on one of the earlier podcasts that despite all the money that the Phillies spent, and they're not going to be able to spend in the near future, because of all that money, kind of down the drain. You could thank the Yankees for that they just buy all the good players. And Phillies, look at their farm system. When they won the World Series 2008, who did they have in their farm system that got them there? Carlos Ruiz, Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins. They all came through Reading, all started in Reading at least, through the late 90s, early 2000s, and developed through the years and got together at the right time. And 2008, still to this day, I'd take that Phillies lineup against any team, maybe not in the history of baseball, because the Yankees were pretty deadly in the 90s, along with the Braves, Chipper Jones and Greg Maddux and all those lethal firepower that they had. But I don't know. I think it's the end for the Sixers. It's going to Game 7, regardless of what they do in Game 7, whether they win or lose. they're gonna have to play whether it's the Celtics or the Bucks. Deadly team, deadly team. Like they can't be slacking. For a quarter, take it easy for 5 minutes, whatever. No, they have to play, hard basketball the entire time, which I don't think they're physically capable of. They're going to get tired. They're going to get deep in their bench unless their bench has some, deep fallout performance, and they do stunningly well. And, you have people on your bench all hitting, between 9 to 15 points with rebounds and assists and low turnovers and good 3 balls and making your foul shots and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. And like I said, I mean, I wish them the best of luck. Philly, I mean, deserves it. They got the Super Bowl win, not this past season, but the season before that. The Phillies won in, '08. So, the Flyers got to do something. But it's sad. They're winning this franchise in Philadelphia is the Philadelphia Soul, which is an indoor arena football league. Bon Jovi has more titles than probably all the Phillies teams combined up to this date. I don't know how it is with arena football. I've actually never been to the Philadelphia Soul game. I have watched it on TV, so on and so forth. But, yeah, it's pretty sad when, But, I mean, hey, if there's not a market for that and they build a market, but I'm pretty sure they've, they're probably more like Detroit Red Wings won a bunch of titles in a row. Braves were destroying it in the 90s, early 2000s. Basketball, the Bulls, and then there for a while it was the Cavaliers and Miami, and now it's Golden State. You have all these kind of dynasties, and you definitely do that. I would mean, yeah, '08 Phillies team. I mean, I don't know about the Flyers. I mean, I can't say I'm really super into hockey, but it kind of is what it is. I mean, I support the Flyers as well. I don't necessarily have a favorite hockey team like I do with football and baseball. Like baseball, Phillies all day. Football, Dallas Cowboys all day. Basketball, yeah, we already went over that. So yeah, I mean, but like I said, baseball is a long season, 162 games. We're still early in May. It's been a month and a week and a half, less than 2 months of baseball. There's 162 games, but yeah, I mean, if Harper stays in this rut, it's gonna be bad. But I said before, I feel like Harper is the most expensive hype man that they could have possibly bought. I mean, he's cool as shit. He's hype. You always see him on the camera. He's like, he's a cool guy, hot wife, kid. 45-minute drive to Philadelphia, so he doesn't even really live in Philly. Which technically, I mean, Reading's like an hour and a half away. Well, with traffic, I don't know where he lives. Maybe Chester, that's about 40 minutes away. Unless he lives in Maryland or Jersey. Jersey, that's nasty. But yeah. But I feel like we spent enough time on that question. So we'll go on to the next one. That was probably fucking 7, 8 minutes something. Question 2. Ooh, I like this one. It Too is coming out. As a horror buff fan, are you happy, excited, or don't care? Oh yeah, I definitely seen. I haven't watched the in-depth trailer of it. I mean, I definitely seen ads for it on every platform imaginable. Definitely excited. I mean, I did like it, not just the original one with Curry in it, but this last one was good, and I think they're really going to go deep into it now. I mean, I've tried to read the book, but when I was young, and I never really, caught on at rereading it as an adult. But I think it's going to be good. I'm more excited. I don't want to say more excited, but anybody that's seen that, it's a film coming out called Brightburn. It's basically what if Superman growing up didn't use his powers for good; he used them for evil or bad. So I think that's going to be really interesting. Because I've always kind of wondered that, in the back of my mind, every superhero you see is good except for Thanos with the Avenger, whatever, Thanos. But I mean, there's a couple other bad ones, but I mean, I think it's gonna be I'm really excited to see how they do the. I think it was the guys that did Guardians of the Galaxy. So I mean, they're definitely gonna direct it, produce it, and do their due diligence. I just hope it's not too crazy with like CGI because I love a good classic action movie with a lot of different stunts and effects. But nowadays it's like pew, 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 like you blink and you're like, what the hell just happened? Especially with the 3D and super IMAX and all that crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it too coming out. I'm definitely gonna see it. I did watch Avengers Endgame, and I think they need to change it to Avengers Lame Game, just because I don't know. I thought Infinity War was better. It felt like they played too many different pieces of all the different other Avengers, characters, movies to make everything kind of fit together. I know this is kind of like quote unquote the final, puzzle. I doubt it will be, but and like I said, no spoiler alert here. Just a lot of sad moments throughout, a lot of good moments throughout, but overall, being a pretty not super big, Avengers fan, but pretty big one. I was inspired. Always loved, all the different characters: Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. But I mean, if you didn't really see, Captain Marvel movie, which came out briefly before uh, Infinity, before Endgame, after Infinity War, you would have missed a big chunk because I had people that didn't see um, Captain Marvel or whatever Miss Marvel I think should be called. Not a bad storyline and all that, but it's one of those things where you got to be really well surrounded with the series. You just can't like watch Infinity War and then watch Endgame because you're gonna be like, what the heck is going on? You'll be throwing a lot of blanks. And the third and last question here. This is definitely a little out there. I'm not even gonna lie, and I mean, I wouldn't call myself necessarily a conspiracy theory or tinfoil hat guy, but I mean, some things you just gotta even try to question everything. A lot of crazy things happening in this world. Israel's getting bombed out the wazoo. 600 missiles with less than a day. 600 missiles in less than a day. That's crazy. When you do the math, that's probably like 40 an hour. I'm not really gonna do the math right now, but sure, that's pretty crazy. And Israel's a small country, taking a lot of crap right now. Um, but anyway, question three: what if all the UFO sightings are different government agencies testing out and saying nothing, and then they do a staged UFO scare to gain more capital and control over its people? Well, as far-fetched as that sounds, it's actually not that impossible. I mean, I've always, said that something's going on up there, but we don't know what because, like I said, now with everybody, I think all government agencies, if they are doing it, have to be very careful because everybody has, a cell phone, a camera, usually on them, and some, have super professional, high grade crap. So if you get, you don't want to get caught with your pants down, basically, and yeah, I think they're a lot more skeptical of what they're doing. I think they're doing something because why does, especially the U.S. government, it has like 6 different branches. I mean, you have, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard. You can't really count them as a power source, but good for spying. And they're always the ones that pick up those freaking ships with all the drugs in it and stuff. And who's to say that they're not 15 tons of crap? Who's not going to say they're going to go in and take out a little something and push off to another country or something, link up in the ocean? Just saying, not proven or anything, but yeah, that's actually not a bad analogy assessment at all. Because I mean, I've seen stuff with my own eyes, not recorded, obviously, because I mean, not to say that I didn't have a cell phone back when it happened. I did, but I think I've talked about it before. Uh, I was in Kenhurst with my uh, roommate at the time, Victor, and we were like out back. We built this kind of like a little oasis area where we put sand out and um, those little aerobox chairs, and you could like sit back and just relax in the chill spring, summer, and fall nights. Maybe have a fire going. We did have a fire pit, and just you got a nice big angle view of the sky, laying on an aerobox chair, looking up, and we just I don't know if he pretty sure he saw it because we even discussed it briefly at the time because we both came to no conclusion that we didn't know what it was. And I'm pretty big into aviation, airplanes, different technology. This definitely wasn't no plane. Uh, I don't know how fast they can go, but they definitely can't go this fast. I don't know what kind of technology they have. This was at least probably like pushing Mach 11, 12. Some people have told me it was probably like a meteor or something, or asteroid, or something, debris, shooting star maybe. Um, but I'm pretty sure this was like in the atmospheric area, because it wasn't low, but I just like saw. I don't know. It was just sitting there in the sky. You might think it's like a star or a satellite, and it's just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes later, it just moved across the sky at impeccable rate. Like, and I doubt it was like a meteor, because a meteor wouldn't just like you wouldn't see it, because as soon as it enters the atmosphere, you're going to see the fireball. It's going to probably break up. You're going to see the stream, and this was just sitting still, and then woof, not like a blink of an eye, but this was probably in the course of like 2 or 3 seconds. It moved across the whole sky horizon that I could possibly see, which would have been from like Philly, Delaware area down in like the southeast, um, overlooking like the northwest, probably close to like Myerstown area. So that's a pretty good distance. It's 300 miles in 3 seconds, so that's 100 miles a second. That's pretty fast. Ain't no planes pulling off of that. And if they are, it's definitely unmanned, because no man is going to be able to withstand those type of G's. You'd be like, witcha, 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 and that's not going to work. You're going to throw up, you're going to die, you're going to black out. It's not going to be pretty. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely find that very plausible. Not to say that like I agree with it, 100%, but I do think, at least most UFOs that quote unquote have seen, been captured, either, bad CGI, good CGI. And if it is, unexplainable or whatever, I think could be government agencies behind it. The big one is surprisingly like Mexico, if there have been any in the past couple years. Surprisingly, it's in Central America, Mexico, El Salvador, uh, Panama. And I don't really know why aliens would want beef with, Central America people. That seems very ironic to me, but what do I know? And, wherever you're coming from, that's a vast distance. So, you're just going to fly here and just, ooh, hey, look at this place. Ooh, ooh. All right. And then boom, begin your, how many intergalactic freaking journey, whatever you're using. Because even the flying saucers you see, you're like, this is going across galaxies, solar systems? Man, it looks like some sheet metal that, you could build in shop class with a couple sheets of metal and just, woo, good welder. And it ain't going to be able to withstand that much PSI. But definitely, if there is, I think there's some sort of super like mothership or giant ship, kind of like think of it as like aircraft carrier. The really big, massive, basically runways, and they just coast along the ocean. And then they have 20, 30, 40 jets, different type of fighter planes in there, or different aviation type aircraft, and can send them to wherever within a moment's notice. So I think, it would be something like that if it would be, which is kind of scary, but the government's done, more messed up controlled stuff. Like that would just be, something small on the tidbit scale, I feel. But definitely very plausible. So let's see, that's all the questions. Dang, we are like almost half the show right there. But it's whatever, because like I say, it's a Q&A. I always try to do it if there are questions, because I feel it's good to be, open, honest with people. and to just openly talk about things. Like I don't like to get in heated arguments or debates or anything like that. Because like I said, it could be a he said she said. Neither person could actually be quote unquote right. Um, and like I said, if you're arguing with somebody, like I said, you don't have to believe the truth to make it true. So whether you believe it or not doesn't necessarily like I could disagree like people a lot of times with the current president we have, which yes he's a piece of shit and uh, horrible. I didn't vote for him, but I mean he is still the president, whether you like it or not, of this great nation. So you have to have a little respect just for the job, because I guarantee it, you know, every job I've had put together, that would still be probably 3, 4, 5 times harder. Just the amount of stress and 400 different people and the different cabinets and the House and the Senate, all trying to, pull their little side opinions on you. And it's definitely going to be tiresome. And, I mean, if he stayed off Twitter, that would probably help a little bit. But, I mean, he has done good things. Clinton started the, don't remember what bill it is, but it's the one where he pretty much, put the black people that voted for him behind bars for little, 20 bags of crack, coke, heroin, whatever they were carrying. Everything was, and they would be super, they would put the hammer down on them pretty much. They're not doing like 3 to 6 months. These guys are doing like 5 to 10 years. That's a good chunk. That's a decade, maybe 5 of good behavior. But, it was just pretty much to fill up prisons, and they make a lot of money off of that. They can waste a lot of tax dollars and implement a lot of things. And I always find it weird, like, how, especially something that's come up in the teens of the 2000 era has been, police brutality, which I don't necessarily agree with it in any way, shape, or form. I think it's awful. It's hideous. Doesn't really matter what the person's doing. I've seen a lot of these videos, and you don't treat people like that. I don't even care if you killed 60 people. Your job is to apprehend. There's non-lethal ways to do that, and many times cops, I think they should have to go through like a psych evaluation. Because if you look, a lot of these like side profession jobs require more time, training, or different delegations than police officers. You got to go to the academy. You got to go to a shooting range. You got to pass this little obstacle course. That's really it. I mean, this is nothing. Anybody can really do it. You got to pass the academy. You got to run the mile, I think, in 6 minutes. You got to go through, your PFA or wherever you're at. You got to go through some sort of vigorous training program. Pennsylvania, it's PA Act 235. That's pretty much, extreme. I remember I didn't even make it because you have to go through this little obstacle course at the end, and they pepper spray you for a good 3 seconds. And I was kind of a dumbass. Like, I didn't close my eyes or anything. I'm just like, ah! And then you gotta like go and hit all these different like dummies that they have, like football, just standing there. And I was crying. I couldn't see shit. So I invited to retake the course, the test, but nah, not right now. But yeah, I mean, it's been May. Well, April ended rough, May started rough, but it's getting better. I feel. Like I said, I had that big thing in the end of April with the internet situation, and I think it's pretty much because so much here. I think they're trying to like meter it and stuff, and so many signals bouncing around. I don't know, but I think we're good now. I'm gonna try to rebound, and maybe a little bit just laziness, but like I said, big transition. Redid the studio, much more official, and I'm gonna be probably working on. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily switch it because I felt like this was very creative of me and intellectual, to make the Hotspot podshot. But a lot of people I tried to pitch it to are like, it's a tongue twister, da da da. Got to keep it something simple. So I am introducing. I'm not sure. I'm kind of between two names. Uh, the one guy, well, he wanted to kind of work with me through third-party advertising. Said about the power of the flower, and I was like, no, absolutely not. Got all the flowers jokes all throughout freaking school. Not dealing with it in my 30s. But I'm basically leaning between the tower hour or an hour in the tower. Not really sure. What do you guys feel? I mean, I kind of like them both. The tower hour, but then there's something about an hour in the tower. It just sounds like, you know, kind of interesting in my eyes. But yeah, I mean, I'm just been doing a lot of like little side stuff, taking an interest into, well, mainly because got a couple of tickets and trying to work with the Reading Phillies on some stuff. Still to be determined, but I mean, I've got to go to quite a few games so far this season. I think I've been to four or five, but they've lost every single one that I've been to. So maybe I'm like a bad luck charm and I shouldn't go. It's always nice when they win. Like every time I went to see the Royals, except for one time this past season, and I went 4 times as well to the Royals. They won 3 and lost 1, so that makes you feel better. But they didn't make the playoffs, so that's a little weird in my eyes. I would like to go to. I don't know. I want to do like a not necessarily like a Woodstock, but I wouldn't mind being opposed to like getting a group of people, maybe 30, 40, no more than 50, and just doing like a big like powwow out in the middle of nowhere, get like a big bonfire going, and yeah, just have some fun, some booze, alcohol, whatever, whatever, and just have fun. Maybe tell some stories around the fire, do some activities, volleyball or something. Maybe not necessarily a campground per se, just because there'll be a lot of money for 25 plus people. And people have said that they're like, hey, since you're kind of trying to live this minimalistic life, or at least right now, would you ever try to like go off the grid or anything? And it's like, I'm about as far to the grid without necessarily like being off. You know what I mean? I'm not like off it. I'm not dead smack in it. Like I'm not on my phone 24/7. I don't do Netflix. Don't have a microwave. Do have a cell phone. I have an iPhone 6s Plus. It's not like I have like a track phone from the 90s or something that doesn't even have voicemail in it. But it's kind of how comfortable can you be with yourself to where certain actions don't cause declaration. And what I mean by that is, like if you're complacent with your life, I mean, I'm not saying like be a lazy piece of shit and try to live off the government, this, and this. I'm not that. No food stamps, no sort of help at all, except from a couple friends and family here and there. But it's because they want to help. They know what I'm doing is pure, genuine, sincere. Um, Especially with the mix of trying to develop some sort of stand-up entertainment, comedic route, whatever you want to call it. Because I had a friend ask me, recently, are you mad you didn't take that development deal from New York City? And to be honest, no, I'm not really mad, upset, anything at all. It was, in my honest opinion, I mean, a shitty deal. I'm pretty broke, and maybe that's why, like, $4,000 to me is not a lot of money. And I try to counter with like a half a year because that $4,000 was for 1 year development deal. But most likely, I'm not going to be at work down here because I'm going to be on call 24/7 for any type of thing that they feel fit to put me into. Whether it would be like a stand-up gig. I mean, I did a couple entree performances for them, I did a strip club in Woodside, which is in Brooklyn. Um, it was pretty good because at the time I had no strip club jokes, but it was brief because like the DJ was taking a lot longer and he was like fumbling around and felt like people were more watching him than watching me, but did get a couple ha ha ha's and all that sort of stuff, which I guess is all that really matters in the end. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to like travel this summer, which I know is gonna be hard because unless my stand up stuff, sort of takes off. But even if you're traveling, you're pretty much just traveling from city to city. You don't really get to like have your own side free time, not that much in the day at least. So I don't really know, but I mean, if something did have to happen, I would probably choose New York, not because I'm not a West Coast guy, but right now the transition I feel would be too hard. Definitely not just me, but family. 'Cause, I mean, I've lost a lot of family members over the past. Uh, well, I'm 31, going on 32 soon. So pretty much like when I can remember, five, six people just died. And isn't it sad that that's like the only time that the true whole family can come together? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might have different functions, but every time somebody dies in a family, that's like the only time I feel maybe I'm making fun or picking on my own family, and I mean I apologize for that. It's partly my own fault, but it's like somebody dies, everybody has to go to the funeral, and then you catch up with everybody and mourn and grieve and catch up and do all that different stuff. And I mean some people, and it's hard because different people grieve in different ways, grieve at different times. I know people, I don't want to say move on quick, but uh, necessarily aren't phased by certain things anymore. Like me, I mean, I love my certain times of the year are really bad. Like my father, he passed away when I was 16, and I only really knew him since I was like 13. He died of lung cancer, well, he had lung issues, complications, and they pretty much just his body doped him up with morphine. It was like a super high grade of heroin, and his body just slowly kind of ate away itself and died out. Very sad, but I feel like that was maybe something that was the initial push that made him kind of, I feel, want to do things with me because he knew, hey, something's kind of wrong. Maybe he didn't tell me. He never definitely told me anything. Uh, I felt like he knew he wasn't going to be around because, like, when one time we went to Ocean City, Maryland, and we stayed like right to Delaware because something was going on that week in Ocean City, and it was just crazy packed everywhere. I think it was Memorial Day weekend, which yeah, obviously it would be. We had to stay in like this little kind of suite, little ghetto suite with a sofa bed and uh, a little kitchenette with like two pots and pans and two cups. Nothing more, nothing less. And yeah, we like go down there, and that was like I was 13, I think, 14 maybe at the time. No, 13. And he got like a Yingling 6 pack, and that was my first beer I ever had. I didn't do it like I kind of knew, even though I was like so young and I knew I shouldn't have this. This is a grown up thing. It was something that I kind of knew, like this is not something I have to do, but this is something that I want to do. Not necessarily get trashed because hey, it's a 6 pack of Yingling. I think he had like 5 or 4, and I might have had 1 or 2. Maybe that's probably why I don't really care for Yingling. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's the best shit ever," and when you have it at like 13, maybe that kind of ruins every little aspect for it. But I don't know. It was short, only had a couple years, but what I do remember, I remember, and always cherish those memories in my mind and in my heart too, especially. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any grandparents from any side of the family. They're all gone. Don't have a dad. Just have my mom and even an aunt that passed away quite a few years ago, which sadly. So even that side of the family, and I don't really know like my dad's side of the family at all. When he passed away, I tried to get in contact because I have two half brothers, uh, and yeah, when he passed away, I tried to get something set up, but the lawyer said that didn't really want to. They didn't really want to, and he agreed that the complications, everything that was going on with the estate, that it wouldn't be a good thing to engage in. I'm sorry, that was when my grandfather passed away. Which yeah, he passed away after my dad. So that was that. But yeah, I mean, everybody plays tragedy differently, uh, but it's intangible. Like it's like a scar. Even after it's healed, it still always reminds you because it's there. It's like an off coloration, you know, of your body on your body. Like you get burned, even after like 4 or 5 years, you can still see that. I mean, I have a mark on my hand from when I burned myself like 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it just yeah, it kind of looks like a birthmark, but I don't know. Yeah, speaking of my birthmark, I mean, I do have one. I think it's kind of faded out actually by now, but do they even do that anymore? Like, what is that? Is that just like a baby tattoo or something? Can't ever get it off. Taking like 400,000 showers and it's just kind of still there, but not really, but sort of. And it's weird. Like I don't know. I associate. I don't mind scars because I mean I have a pretty decent pain tolerance, except for like down south on the balls and dick region. I'm not one of those guys you just like whatcha kicking the balls and everything's all good. Yeah, but I mean as far as like other different like my leg was on fire one time for a good 3 minutes and I didn't even feel it. I mean I felt it afterwards after I put it out and all my leg hairs were burned and it started like the air was hitting it and started getting that weird like hot burn itch, whatever you want to call it. Uh, but yeah, and we have the well, if you're a local person, we have well, even now I think it's a lot of cities or general votings going on for like city council, school board members, mayors, whatever, so on and so forth. Which I got into with a couple people was supposed to tried to get Eddie Moran and Wally on. Probably gonna get that Frankie Graham Jr. guy, but you ever see somebody and just be like, no. No offense, dude, but nah. You could ask to come on here and I would probably be like, nah. Nah, I don't really know him, but I mean, I haven't really heard that many good stories. I mean, I know he served, and I respect you for that, and respect everybody, because that's a very honorable duty to do. I've never done it, never really wanted to do it, not because I don't love my country, but because I feel like I can represent my country better than joining kind of like a third party co-op mission to help do whatever agenda you feel is necessary to keep your proclamation. Because like I said, we have all those different things and they want to create another one called like Space Force or Star Force or I don't know, something. It's like, come on. What are you going to be doing up there? What do you need that money for? We got telescopes. Can't you just, not telescopes, satellites. Can't you just point a couple the other way to point out like the solar, right outside the Earth's atmosphere, that little zone between the us and the moon? I gotta say, like as you can see, there's a telescope back there, and I encourage everybody. This one, it's not that fancy at all. The eyepiece isn't in, and the lens isn't in, and all that because I don't keep them in there unless I'm using it. But so I strip it down to the bare minimum when I'm not using it. But yeah, I encourage everybody to get one. Not necessarily just for. You can use it for other things too. It makes like a good long, basically like a scope on a rifle. I could see, like the Reagan Hospital landing pad from the trauma center, and I could say that's kind of scary because I can't record it because like if I put the iPhone lens, there's different lenses and it'll be refraction and you won't see it. But basically, if I could describe what happens is they land. That's it. 3-4 minutes go by. I guess I gotta wait for the propeller to completely stop moving. Something, I don't know. But then they get out, like they're unloading a truck, no care in the world. Pilot gets out, and then the co-pilot or side person, whatever, gets out, runs back to the doors that, basically where you put the person into. And then they open a little hatch, slide them out, put them onto the cart. I thought nurses were going to be rushing out from some sort of secret entrance point or something. No, they're just casually going for it like they're walking the dog or a baby. So trauma center, this dude probably has his face hanging off the side. And you guys are just, hey Charlie, did you see the Mets game last night? Like, nah, get that person in there. 20 seconds could be life or death. That's why they took an ambulance. That's why they took a helicopter instead of an ambulance. Duh, I just screwed up my own little bit there, but whatever. And I imagine those helicopter rides are not cheap at all. Because I've seen the bills for the ambulances, which is just, 4 wheels and 2 guys basically pushing around a glorified enclosed food truck with no food. And some of them were in like minivans. I'm like, how do you get a person in there? Seems like I'm making fun of, no, I'm not, I'm sorry. But very important job, very important duties. I just wish, what I saw was very scary. So hey, go get one. This one I think I got about $50 plus tax at Wally World. And yeah, you can look at the stars. I don't know. I've looked at the moon, and I've got some really nice lenses, by the way. That shit looks weird. I'm talking like full moon. You get deep onto that moon, it looks nothing like the quote unquote pictures that they took from. And I know it's different because we're seeing it from a different angle, far away. These lenses do get up close, and it seems like the light is more reflective when I'm looking at it than the light reflective. Like it looks like NASA stuff from all the Apollo missions. It's kind of dark, beige, gray. But even when I get in with my deep 20x magnifying lens, you can see like some of the deep inside those craters, and it's not like a dark, dusty beach or nothing like that at all. It appears white. Maybe it's just playing tricks because they're on it, or they were quote unquote on it, and we weren't. We're just looking at it from very far away. And it is weird, like a lot of people say it's weird that they travel on the same rotation, but it's not. It's called an elliptical or the elliptical. 99.2% sure on that. There is a sliver of doubt, but pretty sure I nailed that. But they can't take like, I don't know, maybe that's something that we do with time, but certain times of the year, like in winter, it's really short. The moon is out with the sun at the same time. and it's like it's still reflecting, even though it's right there. You can still see like a quarter moon or a third moon. That always tripped me out. And that means there would never be like a full moon eclipse because if it was a full moon, the sun would have to be on the opposite side. Not, you know what I mean? Not like a lunar eclipse where it passes between the Earth or the sun, because that would be like during the daytime. I'm talking nighttime when it would be like, full moon and an eclipse. It would kind of be like it would look like a black circle with a big, hole in it. But that physically, technically, wouldn't be possible if the universe is how they say it is, which I don't know. But the moon is really weird. Like, even if you don't, hey, say, hey, Brandon, come over and look at the moon when it's like kind of full, or at least on a clear night. It doesn't have to be full, but it does help. And we can look at it, and you'll see it's definitely weird. Like if you look at it and you're still cool, there's something I think messed up with you in the head or something. Because yeah, nothing like that. I don't know, and it's not good. Like I haven't got to look at Mars. I wish I would have got one because last year in August, many of you know if you're following me on Snapchat, it was. And that's the cool thing because if you notice, it's called the elliptical, which the elliptical is what the sun and the moon take. Just look at them go through the sky. It's different at different points wherever you're at in the world, but relatively, it's not that far off because you just have a small view angle. Everybody has a little small view angle, but they're all seeing the same thing. And that line it takes is called the elliptical. Uh, that's what they call it. I didn't give it the name. Don't look at me. I'm just telling you what it is. And if you look, I mean, that's what the sun takes. That's what the moon takes. That's what generally not all the planets, but most of the planets are like, plus or minus pretty close to it. Like Mars was right below the moon the whole entire time. But right now, where it is, I can't see it. I mean, you can see this with the naked eye. You don't even need a telescope. But I mean, to actually like get in on Mars, I would have liked to, maybe with like a 50x magnifying or 200x magnifying. Because yeah, most of this right now, the biggest lens I have, I think, is a 20x, um, which isn't bad. But the 5 is decent. Like the 5, I think, is the lower lens I got with it. And you put it into the Barlow and then basically look through the eyepiece and voila. But the 5, even the 5x does pretty good on the moon. Like you can see it and you'll still be like, I mean, even look at a full moon or like a super moon. Like, doesn't that shit look weird? It's like so far yet so close, and it's the same size as the sun when it comes, for the eclipses, which is kind of weird. Like the sun is super millions, 193, 992, 300. I don't know. I know I probably sound stupid right now, but the sun is really far away. The moon is pretty far away, but yet they're like the same size in distillation, except for the supermoon. And something that I was thinking about the other day, well, I also heard it, people were kind of like just eavesdropping on it, was like the moon causes, like the high tide, the low tide, and basically the currents, stuff like that, the gravitational force on I want to say, basically the rock that the moon is, supposedly, whatever it is. But we're like a lot of water in our bodies. So wouldn't that like affect us? Do I get like diarrhea twice a month or something? I don't know. Maybe that's why women have periods. Ooh. Huh. I don't know. It definitely is all kind of a little weird. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm just saying like, question everything if you want to. I mean, yeah, you're gonna look like kind of a skeptic crazy person, but I feel that's kind of your duty too. And speaking of which, I mean, I know it's It's almost Saturday, 11 o'clock, so we'll start wrapping it up here. Um, Sunday is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you enjoy your day, but just remember, Mother's Day wouldn't be possible without your little rascal running around. So, uh, but yeah, you do a lot for us. Mine especially, as I love my mom. She's done a lot. I know I do a couple of jokes about upbringing and stuff, but it's no foul, no pun intended or anything. It's all love, and I wouldn't have had it any other way, because it made me kind of who I am today. And a lot of people question things I do, and I mean I do too, but I kind of like it. It's what I want to do. It's what I'm going to continue to do, whether you like it or not. So yeah, like they say, YOLO. Don't even know if that's true because I'm not going to get into it. I mean, I've done different podcasts on that before, but uh, yeah, just love your moms, get them something. Don't worry, Dad. Your necktie and flashlight day or free car wax car wash is coming up right after that. So don't you worry. And to a lot of the single moms, they play dad too. So I mean, they might not actually be quote unquote technical fathers, but they do give you that extra like single mom. That's to me that's up there with the president. It's like one of the hardest jobs to do. Like I don't have no kids, and I mean it's hard to just support myself. I mean I had different cats off and on, and it's completely different. Not even saying it's in the same country, but I'm just using that as a ratio because I don't have kids, but I've had cats and I've been awful parent with them, so definitely not ready for a real one. But they say, hey, sometimes that's the best medicine, just poof, and it changes you. Well, you adapt to this new lifestyle of providing all of a sudden, and hey, maybe that's what I need. I don't know, but I love life. I love opportunities that we're given. So whether we take them in a rise or whether we let them wash by the wayside, it's completely up to us. And that's the thing, like people, I never opportunities don't really like happen all like that for me, especially right now. Um, but when they do arise, you have to know when a good one comes and seize it. So I guess, yeah, in closing, you have to, appreciate your family because that's something I especially realized that I kind of messed up on in the past, especially in part. I'm not, I'll just speak on it real quick. Was with Domino's as a general manager. I mean, I let work pretty much control every aspect of my life, physically, emotionally, mentally, it's like psychologically, you name it. I mean, it was Domino's. Being a GM at that time, I mean, it was good. It was rewarding. I liked what I did. Developing people, bring them up, show them different skills, how to, not necessarily just be good at Domino's, but try to, be good at other stuff too. And, probably succeeded in some areas, bombed in other areas, but it was what I wanted to do at the time. But stupid phone keeps blowing up. It's just charging. My apologies. Anyway, what was I talking about? Anyway, I don't know. Stupid phone got me discombobulated. But yeah, you just have to. Oh, I was speaking about like opportunities and stuff. When they come around, you have to just go after them, whether it's good for you or not. Because, like I said, Domino's like pretty much ruined my life. I think I was there like 6 years. Started off as a driver, bumped up to like a CSR insider type person, and still driving. Then they had me like start off running, one or two shifts a week here or there. Sometimes supervised. The manager would be there, but he wouldn't be like there. He'd be working in the back, quote unquote, doing manager stuff. But yeah, And it wasn't necessarily that I didn't want to do it anymore. It was very tiresome on my body, but it just got to a crossroads with higher up personnel and me, crashing. And uh, it is what it is. It happened, can't be undone. I even tried to go back just recently, last year to this year. Didn't work out. Um, but I wasn't really planning on, building anything off of it anyway. It was just kind of uh, job, sad to say. I mean, I still, tried to do everything that, normally did with Domino's. I mean, even though I wasn't GM, still try to give it my all and still make good pizzas and delegate good tasks and be a decent manager. But, you get tossed around, especially if that certain situation, things were said that can't be unsaid and going behind people's back. And it was just too much for me to deal with. I was really putting a lot of, my eggs in the basket with the comedy and, uh, I was already still going to school. I mean, I've been doing comedy. Technically started last year, and I've been trying to develop it. So I'm still within the first year. But I mean, I feel really good about it inside. Uh, so I don't know. I mean, I know it's not like a 9 to 5. You can't be like a 9 to 5 comedian. When you're big, you're like just all in it, and you're all over the place, and just trying to get different gigs. And eventually, I'll get there. But still working. The writer's block thing has been good, by the way. I haven't really been dealing with it too much per se. Do get little bubble farts here and there, but I mean that's to be expected with everything. Just happy that I can sit down and I haven't not to say it was a coffee, but I mean I really don't drink it that much anymore. Monsters occasionally. I think I had one like 2 3 days ago. I had one today, half this morning, and drinking the other half now. That's why I'm probably kind of a little bit. But everything's good in kind of moderation. Chocolate, tacos, pizza. I just had pizza the other day, and I gotta say, it was not Domino's, and I tore it up. I mean, it was like a small 12-inch pizza. I had like 6 slices, cut it into 8. Still 2 slices left over, but that's kind of it. Like, I eat a pizza, I'm good. My cravings are over for 2 3 weeks or whatever. Been really craving some good Chinese food lately, so anybody knows any good spots? I mean, shit, I walk 43 miles a month or something like that, so about 10 miles a week, 11, 12, yeah. So about 40 something miles a month. I'd be willing to travel for some Chinese. Um, but yeah, I guess kind of went over a lot there in a little ending, but it is what it is, as they say. So I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'm going to try to be back on next week, maybe 1 or 2 days. Nothing concrete yet. Um, so yeah, hopefully everybody has a wonderful weekend. Don't get too whatever lit, uh, turned up, whatever you want to call it. Uh, like I said, everything in moderation, but enjoy yourselves and love each other. So that's it. Have a good night. I'll see you guys next week.